Hello everybody, and welcome to a super spoopy episode of the PC Test Server with Fallen, of course, and he is all set up for Halloween, and Halloween things are happening on the test server because next month, the Halloween seasonal event will come out, and also game update 53. So I kind of, normally I don't really cover, like, seasonal stuff on the PC test server. It's mostly just the same old thing, but, this time around, I kind of wanted to cover it. Mostly because, with game update 53, as well as getting the seasonal event coming out, we are also getting Suicide Squad PvE. So normally when you're in PvP, you have the option of selecting, let me show you guys, in your menu, where is it? Where are you? There you are. You can enable Task Force X, which is basically Suicide Squad, but that's only for PvP. So it allows you to get into, if you're a hero, you can get into a villain group if, say, there's too many people queuing up for a PvP arena or something, and you can get into the villain side. Ooh, I don't want to show you guys that yet. But now we have the ability for villains and heroes cross-faction PvE, which is very interesting, and I'd like to see how it turns out. I don't know if it's just for specific, like raids and alerts and duos and things like that, and operations, or if it's for everything, which would be very interesting, seeing as heroes and villains have specific missions, specific raids. I'm trying to think of specific ones. I guess for, like, in the War of the Light Part 1 DLC, villains will go to Mogo, and heroes will go to I can't think of the name, but it's the Yellow Lantern planet spaceship thing. Yeah. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that works out. If those ones are accessible to that ability or not. Is it going to create weird stuff? But I'm very excited for it because, at least on the PC servers, the villain side is pretty much dead. It's very, very dead. Compared to the hero side. The hero side is where the action is most of the time. So it's going to be quite cool for me. I want to level Frostbreaker, and it's been quite difficult to queue up for anything that is low level on the villain side because nobody is running the low level stuff on the villain side. So that's going to be quite cool for you guys that want to create a villain and you're having trouble leveling. You can now cross faction raid and alert and things like that. And if you have like a league like we do, you could always call out to them and say, hey, can you guys queue up for this specific thing I have been trying to queue up for? So that'd be kind of cool. It brings the two factions a little bit closer. And I like that. I think that was kind of one thing that the game always missed, was the ability to kind of, sometimes heroes and villains have to come together to accomplish goals, whether or not they want to. It kind of has to happen once in a while. So that's kind of cool. But mostly this video is going to be spoopy. It's not going to be that spoopy, but it's very cool because in the spring event, they introduced things like fallen leaves. Well, I think that was actually probably the Halloween one. They introduced fallen leaves on the ground. The winter event introduced ice and snow piles, slushy piles. The spring event introduced grass to put into your base, which was, I think, like a coveted item. I actually didn't know that existed until the event was over, but at the time I was quite busy. So that was something I kind of missed out on, but I got some grass from some very wise-minded people that spent their time farming that and then prepared to sell those items later on. So one thing about the items like the grass and the leaves and things like that, can I get over there without you guys seeing anything? Quick! Oh yeah, oh yeah, all right, okay, cool. All right, now this is the hard part. Don't want to show anything, it's so cool. All right, so let's see if I have some leaves in my inventory of items. I think I do. Yeah, okay. The leaves are very, very tiny. It's very small. This is just like a line of leaves, but there's a leaf pile, but it's still very small. And it really doesn't cover a big area, so you have to get a lot of them to make like something interesting. And that goes with the grass as well. It gives you a little bit of dirty area and a little bit of grass, but it really doesn't cover an area like you would want it to. And I think they saw that. They were like, well, we need to introduce something that allows a player to change the ground in their base, the floor. They might want it to look a specific way, and this will give them that option to do that. But it also means that you're going to have to, if you really want to get into it, you're really going to have to spend some replays and just keep banging out those rounds and stuff for the Halloween event. And I'm going to show you guys those cool things that they have. There are 10 new base items for the Halloween event this year. And they mostly consist, I think, yeah. So there's a bigger pile of leaves. So I imagine the spring event's going to bring bigger grass patches, but there's a bigger pile of leaves. There's dirt, which is kind of cool, I guess, if you want like a dirty area, and then you can put the grass on top of that. There is bones, like a bony pile of like a mass grave type thing, which would be very cool if you're looking to make like a dungeon, or if you're just trying to have like a magical evil type base or a black magic base. It's very cool for you. There's what appears to be like the surface of the moon, but I think it's supposed to be like gravel. There is like charred earth, which I think is probably one of the coolest looking ones, because it allows you to have, especially with the new lava items that you can get from the new DLC, the new episode. You can get lava pools and flowing lava rivers. So that I think will look very cool if you're willing to spend the time and get those. And then there's also like a mossy, grassy stone texture, which is also very cool. And I like that. I wish these were like square, because this roundedness to it, I guess it works if you're just going to get one and you want just one spot to look like that. But when you're using them in an area, it makes it a little bit difficult to align them properly and make the most out of the circle that you have. Since when you put two circles together, it makes like a triangle area. So you have to kind of smoosh them together, and you lose a lot of what you were able to do before. So I wish they were squares, but that's just me. Otherwise, they work just fine. Also, there's some new wall amenities. Wall items, not amenities. There is this very cool Harvey Dent Two-Face picture, which, as you can see, it's changing. These are like the first moving images I've ever seen in the game, which is very, very cool. So this one, I don't know what kind of sets it off. I think it's just like on a time delay. But if you look at it just the right way, it starts to change, and Harvey's face starts to meld, and his suit starts to change, and he turns into Two-Face. So that one's pretty cool. Then there's an Arkham Asylum one, which is just some lightning going off in the background, showing it off. This reminds me of an old picture that my grandparents had, where it wasn't like a picture, it was like a moving thing inside a frame. It looked like a picture when it was off. But when you turned it on, it would start flashing and it would start making images. It was very cool. So that's what that reminds me of, and it looks very nice, and I like that. And for you folks that are looking for something a little bit more grotesque or occult style, you can have a head on a spike on your wall. So there you go. That's for you. And then probably one of my favorite images, just because it's silly as heck, we have this man who has some moving eyeballs. He will follow you around the room. He watches your every movements. If you jump in the right way, he looks like he gets like really big eyes. He's like, oh, you can kind of see it. He gets a little bit excited about you jumping around. But yeah, I like that because, you know, creepy house. You always have to have the moving eyes. So yeah, some new items for you guys. And like I was saying, you can push these things together and meld them and make a very nice floor. And I'm going to show you guys that. I spent the time. Well, it wasn't a lot of time, really. You can get marks we're in the PC test server, so you can get marks fairly easy. I will warn you, this took around, I'm going to say around 100 marks, 100 of the spooky, what are they called? The spooky bites? Yeah. Took around 100 spooky bites to do this. So I wouldn't recommend doing your lower floor unless you really want to spend the time. But this is the charred floor, and it really melds pretty good. You can't really tell that there's a lot of like mush between them. Normally when you mush two items together now, since you have the ability to put items together, it kind of gives you this like flickering thing. You can kind of see it on that edge there. There's a little bit of flicker. I think there's a little bit of flicker right there. But normally it would flicker like hell. But luckily these do not do that, which is very good. A lot of the floor items don't tend to do that, like flat items. This took a lot. There's a lot of them. And I will say, when you're making a base and if you're trying to do this, certain poles, like this pole's fine, but this pole does not like you putting items underneath of it, which is kind of annoying. So you have to position them just correctly, and even still, it's very hard to get those lines to connect up and make a solid spot. I put, also, if you're trying to mix them together, it's gonna look a little jagged, as you can see here. I put some of the mossy stone with the charred stone, and you wouldn't notice it right away, but the longer you sit there and stare at it, you're like, ooh, that's kind of jagged right there, isn't it? So yeah, I'm really excited for that, because now I can make a proper garden with the mossy stuff, and I can make some very cool ground with the charred and the bones and stuff. So that's gonna be pretty cool. That's kind of why I wanted to show it off, just because it was something very interesting that they're doing, rather than it being just a regular, you know, base style, you know, spooky windows, cobwebs, chandelier. It's a little bit more of a versatile thing. So, I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Also, with every seasonal event, it gets a little upgraded every time now, and you get some new items as well as some new base items. You get some style items and things like that, and you get some new feats. And this one brings in the werewolf. Oh yes. It's just the head and the hands and the feet. So it works really great with other styles. Certain styles, like if I had this and I changed my head to the werewolf, see, it looks it looks pretty good. It goes straight through the collar and the back, which is a little bit annoying. From the front, it looks amazing. From the back, not so much. That's all right. The hands look great with stuff that have sleeves, because it's kind of like the biker gloves and things like that. Let's see, where's the werewolf? So yeah, so you can see like the hands are pretty perfect, just sticking right out there. They look like wolfy hands, so I like that. That's very nice. Although the feet are a little bit jank. You have to have the right style for the feet to work properly, because as you can see, with a lot of these like thin-legged styles, it makes it look like you're just, I mean, I suppose it's just a costume, of course, but it looks like they're shoes on your feet. So I guess you'd probably have to go something like, ooh, not what I meant to do. I meant to change the legs, not the feet. I suppose, do I even have anything that would work with it? Probably not. Certain styles will go over top of them, which kind of gives you a cool effect, I suppose. I was trying to look for like some pants. I should have grabbed some pants. But yeah, you're gonna have to find the right ones if you like that style of feet, or if you just want to be like an animal form. Probably any of the animal outfits will give you a better werewolf look to you. But otherwise, it's kind of cool. I like the head the most. The head is very cool. Lets you change the color of the fur and the face and then the eyes. And then the hands, it's the skin, the claws, and the fur. Both for the hands and the feet. So very cool. I like those. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, not it for game update 32 or 53. Words are great. Learn your words, kids. Game update 53 also has some more improvements. They are improving the broker. It's gonna let you right click to item search. They fixed the search text field. They fixed the 48-hour listing duration, price memory, and broker slot count display. So they're kind of doing some upgrades on the broker. It's a disappointment that since they became Daybreak Games, they had to put the UI revamp back on the shelf to wait for a while, but maybe eventually they'll get back to that, and we'll get an even more improved broker and inventory and all that jazz. Also, right now they're going through their mid-range improvements for powers. And this particular game update is going to focus on Celestial. And I'm not going to go into Celestial because I know everyone hates it when I go into Celestial, because I just don't know it like I should. So I'm not going to go into it. But if you're a Celestial user, you might want to hop on the PC test server before it comes out and see how that improves or disproves, unimproves. Disproves is the wrong form. Unimproves your celestial powers. I'm not sure how it works out, if it's better or if it's worse. But you guys can let me know in the comments if you use Celestial and you've been on the PC test server, and let everyone else know. So, thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you're excited for Spoopy Halloween. Just like me, because I'm going to be spending the time farming floor tiles. All right. Thank you for joining me, everybody. And I will see you all next time.